Now it is. Yep, just went on. All right, sorry about the technical difficulties, everybody. We are still in the first period. There's 7 minutes and 9 seconds remaining. That shot by Oakville turned down, and there's a scrum in front of the net. Looks like Bell Tire's going to go on a penalty kill here. So Bell Tire going to go on a penalty kill. Looks like we're going to have Martin Orlick, Mackenzie Flanagan out with Agnew. Flanagan sending it the length of the ice. That's going to go down. 6:55 on the clock. Orlick to chase. Orlick holding up, containing in the zone. Agbe stepping up here, sending it ahead. Oakville into the Bell Tire zone. Loses possession. McKenzie chaps it out. And fighting against the wall is Orlick. And Oakville playing it behind their own net. 57 seconds remaining in the penalty kill for Bell Tire. That pass missed. And now we've got Morton grabbing it from behind her own net. Sending it up the wall, looking for Dobbs. Dobbs. Oakville keeping it in the zone. Markovich battling hard up against the Bell Tire door. That's going to get sent the length of the ice. That was too many. And Oakville lucky there on not getting that call, and we're going to have an offside. 5 minutes, 54 seconds remaining here. 23 seconds in the penalty. And that puck is down, chased down into the corner by Morton. Morton going to send it up the half wall, looking for Palucci. Oakville with possession, sending it on. Grund with a pad save off the boards, getting it out to neutral. Bell Tire, 7 seconds remaining in the penalty kill. Oakville, one last rush. Carlson sending it up, picking up Palucci. Palucci going to send it down the length of the ice, icing waived. And that puck coming back down into neutral by Oakville. This is defended offsides. Offsides called by the refs and every parent in the stands. All right, this face-off right in front of us. Puck is down. Oakville with possession in the neutral zone. And looks like Bowman back to defend here in the corner. Puck sent around, looking for Cruciano. Oakville back with possession. Martin in the corner. Martin behind the net. Martin sending it back to Cruciano. Cruciano going up the wall. Cruciano trying to get through here. Traffic. Able to do so. Trying to get it deep. Clemens now helping out. And Kazarowski helping there. Oakville sending that around on their half wall. Held in by Clemens, and she's going to go for a change. Oakville now coming up into neutral. Contested by Hewer. Chipped up and lost possession there. Oakville regained in the Bell Tire zone. Pick up by McKenzie. Back of the net. Martin. Martin going up the side, off the half wall. That's going to go on, not quite on net. That's going to go down for an icing. On ice is going to be the Flanagans, Orlick, Agbe, and Hewer. Hewer to take the draw, won that back. Kenzie Flanagan driving it up the boards, finding Agbe. Agbe now with some space. Agbe using her wheels. Agbe just lost possession as she got into the slot. Picked up by Mackenzie Flanagan. Sent it back to Agbay. Agbay now repeat. Coming up, Orlick here. Orlick shot. And traffic into the goalie is going to stop play as the net comes off with 3 minutes and 35 seconds remaining in the first period. On ice, Carlson, Dobbs, Markovich, Caitlin, and Mackenzie Flanagan on D. Puck's down, Dobbs on the draw, tied up at the dot. Oakville behind their own net, going to the half wall. Outlet pass up to neutral. Going across center, disrupted by Mackenzie. She lost an edge, but regained and has possession of the puck. Sending it over to Caitlin. Caitlin coming in from behind her net, up to Dobbs. Dobbs coming across, looking for Carlson. Carlson dropping it back to Dobbs. Dobbs looking for help. Dobbs at the half wall. Sends it down deep. Scrum in front of the net. Markovich getting in a battle with Oakville in front of the net. Martin and Morton on D. Martin to defend this drive by Oakville. Oakville passing across. Shot blocked down by Grund. This is picked up by Carlson. Carlson up to Kazarowski. Kazarowski sent it deep for Clemens. Clemens behind the Oakville net. Clemens looking for a pass out to Morton. Just past her stick. Picked up by Cruciano. Cruciano cycles in. Cruciano behind the Oakville net. And it's checked hard. We're going to draw a penalty. And that pass is going to put Beltire into a power play. Shot, though, first by Morton. And a big scrum in front of the net. Picked up by Morton. Play is continuing. Martin with the puck. Martin shot. Hits an Oakville player in the head. And finally the whistle is blown. That was a physical series there while they were waiting for the puck to stop. And Beltire's going to go up on the power play here. 2 minutes, 4 seconds remaining in this first period. Agbay, Hewer, Orlick, Martin, Mackenzie Flanagan on ice for Beltire. Hewer on the draw. Puck is down. One back. Cleared by Oakville. Mackenzie in a foot race. She's going to get to that puck easily. Behind her net she goes. Up to Martin. Martin going cross ice. Hitting Hewer. Hewer hits the brakes, trying to set it up. Ramming it back to Flanagan. Past Flanagan. A foot race that Martin catches up with. Grabs the puck behind her own net. Chips it up the half wall to Hewer. He'll restart this power play. Hewer going up to Agbay. Agbay gets her stick caught in the door momentarily. Puck finally goes in. Puck's finally getting settled down. Picked up by Martin at the blue line. Martin looking across, trying to find Flanagan. Chipped out by Oakville. Flanagan moving up ice. Flanagan hitting Orlick. Offsides. 34 seconds remaining in this power play. Minute and 7 on the clock. And we've got a line change. Carlson in for Beltire. On ice with Markovich, Dobbs, Caitlin, Flanagan, and Morton. Markovich half wall back to Morton. Morton back to Markovich. Markovich down deep to Dobbs. Dobbs coming behind the Oakville net. Up top to Morton. Morton steps back, hits Markovich. Markovich trying to contain the puck, and it gets tapped out by Oakville. Foot race. Morton taken down at the half wall in a collision right in front of us. Dobbs taking out Oakville. Carlson now. Penalty has expired, so we are back to 5-on-5 hockey. And Oakville clears their zone, sends it down to the Beltire zone. Not hard enough for an icing. Picked up by Morton. Morton going up to Clemens. Intercepted by Oakville. Sent down into the slot. Cleared out by Morton. Oakville at the half wall. Taken out by Clemens. Sent around the boards. And Beltire looks like they're going to get out of this period. in a 0-0 game against Oakville. We are going to have an ice cut, so we will be back here in 10 minutes as the girls are going to go for a break. All right, back underway here, second period. Grung getting back into her net. Flanagan's on D. Orlick, Hewer, Agbed. Starts this period out. Agbed pushing that puck through into the Oakville zone momentarily. Oakville chipping it ahead. Down into Bell Tire zone behind the net. Oakville goes. Played by Caitlin. Hewer chipping it up to Agbay. Agbay getting it ahead. Orlick chasing. Off the skate of Hewer. Oakville retreating in their own zone. Intercepted by Agbay. Agbay now in across line looking for Orlick. Open net just past her stick. And a big spill by Oakville. Off of the... Got an injured player here on Oakville. We'll pause play momentarily. She's up and back to her bench. All right, so belt tire change. We're going to try and play with 6 there. A little sneaky effort by Mike. Dumped it deep into the belt tire zone. Martin picking it up, going back the opposite way. And a pass from Morton intercepted on Oakville, dumping it deep. Down in the corner, Dobbs chasing off the post. Oakville behind the belt tire net, now up to their point. Chip shot picked up by Dobbs. Dobbs skating up through, trying to clear. Stopped at the blue line. Defended by Morton. Oakville spinning at the half wall. Send it behind the net. Oakville out front. And Oakville's going to put that one through to make this a 1-0 game. Oakville, 13 minutes, 20 seconds here in this second period. On ice is going to be Bowman, Mackenzie Flanagan, Clemens, Palucci. That puck's going to go down for an icing, and it looks like maybe Cruciano. This puck draw happening in the Bell Tire zone, picked up by Flanagan. McKenzie up the wall, and Clemens at the half wall. Chipping it out to Palucci, who clears the zone. That's going to slide the length of the ice for an icing. Face off in the Bell Tire zone, 13:05 on the clock. Hewer to take the draw. Puck is down. Hewer won it back to Morton. Morton sends it around. Stretch pass coming up. Off of Orlick's foot. Hitting Agbay. Agbay shot. She's taken down hard into the boards. Where is the... There's an Oakville player down. That was a big collision with Agbay into the wall. So we're going to have play stoppage here momentarily to attend to the player. player is back up, not quite to her feet, but sitting up on her knees here. And she's now back on her feet and skating back to the Oakville bench. All right, play resuming. We'll have Orla Hewer, Agbe, Caitlin Flanagan, Morton. 12:49 on the clock here, second period. Score is 0-1 Oakville. Puck is down. Oakville behind their own net. Chased by Orlick. Out with Hewer in possession. Hitting back to Morton. Picked up by Orlick. Hewer getting a shot on. Turned aside. Agbe. Agbe off the half wall. Looking for Caitlin Flanagan. Flanagan gets it tipped in. Agbe. Agbe dropping it down. Finding Orlick. Agbe back to Morton. And able to get that into the zone momentarily. Cleared back out. Sent ahead. Turned aside by Grun. And lost her glove in possession is Morton. It's picked up by Orlick. Orlick skating out through neutral. Taking center. Agbe with her. Orlick out of reach. Dropping it back to Caitlin Flanagan. On ice. Flanagan and Martin on D. Caitlin Flanagan tipped it back into neutral. Chasing it down to Carlson. Carlson on the hunt. Markovich. Markovich coming in. Puck was right in the blue paint. Couldn't quite get it home. Oakville coming out. Out to neutral. Markovich gets a stick on it. Keeps it in the zone. Markovich centering pass. Turned aside by Oakville's goal. Markovich behind the net. Carlson chasing. Oakville out to neutral. This is going to be defended by Flanagan. Now Martin. Martin stepped in. Got her stick on the puck behind the net. Martin going around, getting it up the half wall, finding Carlson. Carlson shipped out to the middle and picked up by Oakville. Martin lifting the stick, going back behind the net and waiting for help. Up the half wall goes Oakville. And that puck finally picked up and glassed out by Martin. Picked up by Carlson. Now Mackenzie Flanagan has it. Turning in her own zone. Going up center ice. Nobody there. Oakville on a change. Flanagan. Flanagan at the half wall. Chipped out and out of play. As Bowman checks in with Palucci. Caitlin Flanagan in. Cruciano. Kazarowski. Back just past the stick of Caitlin Flanagan, and she's going to retreat into her own zone. Behind her net, she's going to hit the brakes and go up the wall, clearing that out. Looking for Palucci. Palucci with a step. Palucci turning in and just past the puck. Couldn't quite get her stick on it. Going into neutral. Picked up now by Palucci and is hooked and tripped. There we go. They got that penalty. Bell Tire's going to go on a power play here. 10:02 on the clock. Bell Tire's going to be back on a power play. With Palucci getting hooked and tripped on that interception. Agbe Hewer out with Mackenzie Flanagan Martin. and Dobbs. Hewer to take the draw. Puck is down. One back to Flanagan cleanly. Flanagan's shot. Turned aside by the net finder and played back by Agbe. Hewer at the half wall. Hewer looking for help. Agbe swooping in. Getting it back to Flanagan. Flanagan over to Hewer. Hewer walking in. Hewer. Shot. Turned aside. Shot again. Turned aside. Picked up by Flanagan. Flanagan dumping it deep to Agbe. Agbe in the corner. Up to Hewer in the half wall. Hewer out to center for Flanagan. Flanagan shot in. Out front. Puck was loose for a minute. Hewer trying to keep it in. Flanagan now grabs it. Turning up ice. Flanagan pushing it up third to Hewer. Hewer now. Shot. Turned aside by Oakville. In the corner. Dobbs going in to help. Up top, sorry, that's Orlick. Flanagan's shot is going to be deflected up into the netting. My apologies, that was Orlick, not Dobbs on that play. 9:03 on the clock, 32 seconds remaining in the power play. Markovich coming in. Now Dobbs is on ice. And Carlson, Morton, and Caitlin Flanagan. Carlson battling up the half wall. Oakville sending it down the length of the ice. 8:56 on the clock, 23 seconds on the penalty power play. Caitlin Flanagan hitting it up to Dobbs. Dobbs getting a stick on it. Oakville getting it back from a neutral and sending it back into the Bell Tire zone. Morton off the back wall, finding Flanagan. Flanagan coming back the opposite direction. Going up to Dobbs. Dobbs met by Oakville in center ice here. Dobbs regains possession and gets it down deep into the Oakville zone. Picked up at the half wall by Morton. Sent around for Carlson. Dobbs now in the corner. Dobbs trying to send it back. Oakville with a player that came out of the box here as they're back to even. Shot on, blocked aside by Grung and picked up by Morton. Circling back in her own zone, playing across to Caitlin behind her net. Caitlin off the wall, looking for Carlson. Carlson at her skates and just in ahead of the puck to call offsides. Resuming play here, we're going to have Clemens out there with Bowman, Mackenzie Flanagan, Cruciano, Kazarowski. That puck sent down the length of the ice. Cruciano in a foot race. Cruciano gets there at the same time and is boarded. Cruciano is going to be fine on the play, but she is going to draw a penalty to put Bell Tire back up on a power play. On ice for the power play is going to be Hewer, Agbe, Orlick, Martin, and McKenzie. Draw happening in the Oakville zone, 7:33 on the clock. Puck is down, one back, Flanagan. Flanagan to Hewer. Hewer turning up. Hewer turning back. Up top to Flanagan, back to Hewer. Hewer shot is rebounded by the goalie and sent out to the corner. Picked up by Martin. Martin's going to go across, looking for Agbe. Agbe up to Hewer. Hewer up to Flanagan. Flanagan up top. Shot is going to be gloved. Bell Tire waiting for that rebound. 7:03, 1:01 on the power play for Bell Tire. Looking to even this out 1-1. Hewer to take the draw. Puck is down, one cleanly. Flanagan over to Martin. Martin, cross, looking for Hewer. Hewer down to Agbe. Agbe to Hewer. Hewer, half wall, up to Flanagan. Flanagan, shot. Rebound. Martin is getting in the scrum with the Oakville team and Orlick in there as well. And it looks like Orlick has lost a skate blade. Orlick is going to limp back to the bench and get some help from Dan. All right, Bell Tire personnel change, 6:43 on the clock, 41 seconds remaining. Out on ice is Markovich, Dobbs, Agbe, Morton. Morton chased around in her own zone by Oakville. How that's not a hooking, I will not know. That stick was up, wrapped around her. But Agbe up the line, sends it down deep. Markovich on the half wall here with Dobbs, sends it back. Caitlin Flanagan up top, shot. Rebound opportunity there. Agbe just missing it. And that puck's cleared out. Now Oakville back up, even strength, picked up by Dobbs. Dobbs trying to chip ahead. Oakville clears it down. It's going to be an icing. There we go. Icing on Oakville. 5:49 on the clock. Sorry, 5:47 on the clock. On ice is going to be Mackenzie Flanagan, Bowman, Bellucci, Kazarowski, and Clemens. Puck is down. Flanagan shot wide of the net. Picked up by Clemens in the corner. Clemens drops, turns, goes back towards the Oakville net. Bellucci in to help. Bellucci battling in the corner. Now Clemens. Back to Bellucci. And behind the net it goes. Chased down by Kazarowski. At the half wall, picked up by Oakville. Oakville clearing out this neutral. This is going to be defended by Bowman. And that puck up the half wall in the Bell Tire zone, sent around, picked up by Bowman in the corner with Oakville. Now Bellucci sending it back over to Mackenzie Flanagan. Flanagan up to Clemens. Clemens trying to go cross, deflected, intercepted by Oakville. Clemens now. Clemens up ice and offsides on Bell Tire. 4 minutes, 45 seconds remaining in this second period. And 16's girls cheering for Dan as he's going to save the day with the skate. It's in a slow jog. Hewer on ice with Martin. Martin up to Hewer. Carlson battling here in neutral. Picked up by Agbe. Now Oakville. Defended by, that is out front. Oakville loses track of the puck. Martin in the corner. Martin takes a bite. Slides into the corner. 4:21 on the clock. Oakville out of their zone. Agbe chasing. Oakville passing cross ice. And that puck picked up in neutral by Bell Tire. Sent into the Oakville zone. And the half wall off a stick, and Carlson's going to chase this down into the corner. Send it around the other way where Markovich is. Picked up by Dobbs on the half wall. And sent deep by Carlson. Back up top. Shot is going to be gloved by Oakville's goalie. 3:45 on the clock. And the Flanagan's out on D with Cruciano. Looks like Markovich and Dobbs. Oakville with the puck going up into neutral. Sending it ahead. Picked up by Caitlin Flanagan. Flanagan making a move around. Grabbed by Oakville. Flanagan sending it up ice. Sent back deep by Oakville. Oakville now behind the net. 3:24 on the clock. Oakville turning in the Bell Tire corner. Sending it up the wall. Up to the point. Picked up. Sent across center and intercepted by Markovic sent down for Cruciano just ahead of her. Couldn't quite catch that pass. .3:11 on the clock. Face-off happening in the Bell Tire zone after the icing call. Face-off taken by Palucci. Bell Tire looking for a breakout here. Clemens on ice with Palucci, Kazarowski, and Flanagan's on D. Half wall. Broken stick. Oakville in a battle with Palucci. Palucci sending it to the corner. Now Flanagan stepping in. McKenzie hitting the brakes, spinning, and sending it back to the corner. Up top for Oakville. Oakville's shot is going to deflect off a skate and go wide to the half wall in the Bell Tire zone. Clemens able to get a step on a mishandled puck up the side. Clemens' shot is going to go just over the net. Picked up by Kazarowski, sent down deep. Bell Tire going for a change. Bowman and Martin. Hewer, Agbe. Martin in on the D here. And Grund with the save. .2:02 on the clock. Hewer to take the draw. Puck is down. Half wall, Martin in a battle. Hewer jumping in to help. Puck picked free. And Markovic going up the side. Markovic taking a quick shot on net. Blocker aside by Oakville's goalie. Defended behind the net by, cheap shot on Agbe. Sends her into the net. Knocking it off its moorings. Oakville coming back the opposite way. Pushing wide is Bowman. Oakville behind the net. Picked up by Bowman. Bowman in the corner. Coming out off the wall. Looking for Agbe. Agbe sending it across for Markovic. Markovic going to get it deep and intercepted by Oakville. Oakville sending it up, and they got behind Bowman. And end up with a goal, putting them up 2-0. All right, Bell Tire looking for the open up this goal scoring here. Mackenzie Flanagan going down into the corner. Oakville shot, gloved by Grund. We've got Mackenzie Flanagan on ice. Check that they are going for a line change, so we'll redo this. We've got Caitlin Flanagan, Martin, Palucci, Kazarowski, and Clemens on ice for Bell Tire. .104 on the clock. Puck is down. Palucci on the draw. Oakville with the puck. Sending it down deep into the Bell Tire corner. Martin behind the net. Battling with Palucci. Martin comes out. Martin coming across for Clemens. Down into the Oakville zone. Oakville now. Coming down the side. Martin defending. Wide of the net, goes to the corner. Oakville trying to get it up to their point. Can't quite get it there. Picked up by Kazarowski. Kazarowski's going around half wall of Oakville zone. Up into neutral comes Oakville. Oakville going across. Stepped up by Caitlin Flanagan. Sent back into the Oakville zone. Off the back wall. Comes out and takes a weird hop. Clemens almost there to capitalize on that. Off the half wall and back out to neutral. Offsides Oakville with 6.8 seconds remaining in the second period. Dobbs on this draw. Markovic in. And on D, we're going to have Mackenzie Flanagan and Morton. Shot. Knocked down by Morton. Morton sending it around the boards as time expires in second period. We're going to get back going here, third period. On ice are Mackenzie and Caitlin Flanagan, Agbe, Carlson, and Hewitt. Oakville coming up through neutral. Going rink wide, defended by Caitlin Flanagan. Picked up by Carlson. Carlson going into neutral, trying to chip it off the wall. Oakville back into the Bell Tire zone, picked up in the corner by Flanagan. Flanagan sending it around to Agbe, who chips it out into the neutral, picked up by Oakville. Oakville at center ice, back into the Bell Tire zone. This is going to get chased down by Caitlin Flanagan. Flanagan sending it back the other way, up the half wall, picked up by Oakville. Oakville now dropping it down to their D at the point, sending it back deep to the Bell Tire corner. Back up top. Sending it down low, just above the dot. Shot off of Grun's face mask and into the corner. Oakville now sending it back up top. Shot just over the net. Picked up at the half wall by Oakville. Down into the corner. Caitlin Flanagan sends it around to Mackenzie. Mackenzie going up to Palucci. Palucci now one-on-one into the Oakville zone. Shot off of a leg of Oakville and back out to neutral. Martin in now with Morton, Markovich, Dobbs, and Cruciano. Cruciano sends that the length of the ice. They're going to call it tip, and that's going to slide the length. No icing. Dobbs picked up by Markovich. Markovich centering pass just past Cruciano's stick. Sent a cross over to Martin. Martin up the boards, going wide, finding Cruciano. Couldn't gain the zone. Now picked up by Oakville. Oakville looking for a centering pass behind the net. Defended by Martin. Up top, shot is going to go over the net. And out to the other side of the point, which chipped back in. This is going to be picked up by Martin. Martin's going to go up ice looking for Cruciano, who gets a stick on it. Sends it down deep into the zone, and Bell Tire's going to go for the change. In the Oakville zone is Cruciano as her teammates come in for support. Going up ice is Oakville. Oakville chipping it out to the side. Bowman in the corner. Now picked up by Kazarowski. Clemens sending it deep. Down behind the Oakville net is Clemens now in the corner. Clemens going up top, finding Flanagan. Flanagan's shot turned aside by the Oakville goalie with 12:07 remaining in the period. Sending it across. Picked up by Carlson. Carlson going deep into the Oakville zone. Up the boards. Able to sneak past Bowman and sent across offsides is going to be called on Oakville. 11:46 on the clock. Martin and Flanagan out with Orlick, Agbe, and Hewer. Martin with the puck. Martin going off the board, finding Agbe in stride. Agbe down the side. Agbe in the corner, behind the net. Going to the opposite corner, picked up by Oakville in the half wall, sent back the opposite way. Off the half wall, Oakville chipping it ahead, deflected by Martin. Martin now going into the Oakville zone. Martin at the half wall, chipping it in. Finding Hewer. Hewer in the corner. Hewer back to Agbe. Behind the net, Agbe. Agbe taken down and sent to the corner where Orlick is going to be. Oakville regain possession. Orlick in the corner. Picked up at the half wall by Oakville. Oakville coming out. Martin defending. Drop pass from Oakville. Shot deflected by Martin and picked up by Flanagan, who sends it up to Hewer. Hewer now trying to drive it deep as her team goes for a change. We had a line change for Bell Tire. Now this is picked up by Morton. Goes just past her stick. Picked up, deflected aside by Grun. Picked up by Oakville on the half wall. Out front, looking for a pass up to their point. Finally gets it. Off her stick, chipped ahead. And now out of the zone. Markovic now with a little bit of room. Markovic chipping it ahead into the zone. Carlson on the hunt here. Dobbs out on ice with Morton. And one of the Flanagans, McKenzie. Centering pass just missed by Markovic. Cruciano coming in, going behind the Oakville net. Bell Tire going for a line change. Mackenzie Flanagan at the half wall. Keeping that puck in, centering pass. Nobody home. They were on a change. Goes to the half wall on the other side of the ice. Kept in by Palucci. And now makes its way out to neutral. Morton going to Palucci. Palucci taking the pass. Shot. And going to be covered up by Oakville's goalie. 9:31 on the clock. We are going to have Palucci on ice with Cruciano. Drops it back to Martin. Martin pulling it back, taking a shot. Wide, looking for a tip from Palucci. Bowman sending it back down deep into the corner. Collected in by Oakville. Oakville chipping it ahead. This is going to be defended by Martin. Martin going into the corner. And pulls the puck out. Chipping it ahead. Gets it to Cruciano, who gets it out into neutral. Lots of battling happening here. Oakville going D to D in their own zone, sending it ahead. Defended by Martin. Martin getting her stick on it. Clearing it up. Up ice. That's going to make its way down for a nice 8:46 on the clock. Line change for Bell Tire is going to bring out Hewer, Agbe, the Flanagans, and Orlick. Stretch pass coming from Flanagan. Flanagan just past the stick of Orlick. No icing. Agbe coming in. Orlick now with the puck down deep, sending it up to Flanagan. Caitlin's shot is going to be deflected out front and cleared out to the side to the corner of Oakville zone. Oakville off the half wall, going to clear up into neutral. Now Oakville gains the zone, defended by Caitlin. Picked up by Hewer. Hewer off the wall, looking for Orlick. Orlick tipped ahead for Agbay. Agbay chipping it ahead for Orlick. Going to go behind the Oakville net. And cleared out by Oakville. Dobbs dropping it back to Caitlin. Caitlin Flanagan going across to McKenzie. McKenzie in a rush going through neutral. Gaining the zone. Dropping it back. And picked up by Oakville on their door. Cleared in, picked up by Dobbs. Dobbs down in the Bell Tire corner. 7 minutes, 40 seconds on the clock. Dobbs coming up the wall. Dobbs going up ice. Tipped in by Oakville and chased down by Markovich. Behind their own net goes Oakville. Oakville out to neutral. Oakville clearing it in. This is going to be chased down by Martin, who's in with Morton on D. Martin circling her own net. Hits the brakes, comes back the opposite way. And it is picked up by Morton. Morton now behind the net, sending it to half wall to Clemens. Clemens into neutral, looking for a place to go. Clemens finally clears it up and gains the zone to Kazarowski. Tied up by the Oakville door. Morton trying to work that puck free. Gets it free. Cleared out. Goes across looking for Clemens. Skips her stick. Goes to neutral. Oakville intercepted by Palucci. Palucci taken down here. No penalties called. And Oakville with possession at center ice. Oakville trips over center ice. Picked up by Martin. Martin is being driven down and is going to end up with a penalty here. Martin now joining the rush with Orlick's shot. Goes off the chest. Centering pass. Now picked up and the whistle's blown dead on the holding on Martin. 6:05. Bell Tire going to a power play. On this power play is going to be Agbay, Hewer, Orlick, Martin, and Mackenzie Flanagan. Puck is down. Oakville in their corner. They're going to try and hold it. Shot up ice, deflected by Martin, and sent back down where Mackenzie Flanagan's going to chase it down in the Bell Tire corner. They're going to slow things down here, gain their composure. Hewer coming up ice, taking center. Hewer going across the line, picked up by Agbay. Agbay dropping to McKenzie. Flanagan down to Martin. Martin's shot going to be deflected wide of the net. He sends it behind the net, looking for Agbay. Agbay up the half wall to Hewer. Hewer up to Flanagan. Flanagan back to Hewer. Hewer walking in. Hewer's shot goes wide of the net, picked up by Martin. Martin circling the net. Goes back up to Hewer. Hewer up to Flanagan. Flanagan's shot deflected in front and is cleared to the corner. Now it's going to be chased down by Hewer. Battle happening with Agbay. Agbay drops to Flanagan. Flanagan trying to get it back into the play. Flanagan drops into Hewer. Hewer dropping it back deep down to Agbay. Agbay is going back up to Hewer, who is skating off for a change. And now Flanagan's resetting in neutral. 17 seconds remaining in the power play. Up ice, Orlick. Markovich in on ice now for Bell Tire. Oakville coming up the opposite way. Dobbs in for Bell Tire. 4 seconds remaining, and the power play is going to expire on Bell Tire as Oakville retreats into their zone. Stretch pass by Oakville is going to be defended by Caitlin Flanagan and cleared up ice. That's going to be chipped in by Cruciano as Bell Tire goes for a change on an icing.
Stick down, head up.
Carlson Dobbs on ice with Caitlin Flanagan. Puck is down to the half wall, picked up by Morton. Morton sends it behind the Bell Tire net. Caitlin Flanagan now working her way out from behind, picked up by Morton now. Morton going off the half wall, which is going to clear out to neutral. Markovich there to try and battle. Oakville sending it up off the skate of Carlson and into neutral. Oakville with possession in neutral, going across center ice. To the wall, Dobbs chasing it. Picked up by Morton behind her net, across to Flanagan. Caitlin Flanagan going up to Clemens. Clemens going across center. Picked up by Carlson. 3:25 on the clock. Pass up the wall by Oakville, doesn't make it, and is picked up by Carlson, trying to get it deep. Morton and McKenzie on D here for Bell Tire. Battle in the corner. Clemens, Bellucci, Cruciano. And Oakville coming out with the puck, going up into neutral. Defended by Morton. Morton with a good stop, breaking into the zone. Morton's shot, gloved, and covered by Oakville's goalie. So on ice, we're going to have Agbe, Hewer, Flanagan, Bowman. Puck is down, 2:40 on the clock. Oakville coming out to neutral. Oakville gaining the Bell Tire zone, defended by Bowman. Oakville in the corner, centering pass, intercepted by Hewer. Hewer turning up ice. Hewer going to Agbe. Agbe trying to get it chipped ahead. Hewer picks up the rogue puck, intercepted by Oakville. Sent up ice, collected by Bowman. Bowman sends it back the other way. Oakville getting it deep into the Bell Tire zone. This is going to be chased down by Mackenzie Flanagan. Flanagan looking up ice, chipping ahead, and is going to miss the stretch pass for an icing with 2 minutes and 1 second remaining. Markovich, Carlson on ice with Dobbs, Caitlin Flanagan, and Martin. Flanagan going to rip it around to Markovich. Markovich catching it, sending it ahead to Carlson. Carlson getting into the Oakville zone momentarily, and they clear it back out. This is sent down deep into the Bell Tire zone, chased down by Martin. Martin collecting behind the Bell Tire net. Chipped around by Flanagan. Took a weird bounce off the boards, but picked up by Dobbs. Dobbs sending it ahead to Markovich. Markovich clearing out to neutral. Oakville with the puck in neutral. Picked up by Flanagan. Flanagan sending it up into the Oakville zone. And a battle on the boards. 1:15 on the clock. Pulled back by Bellucci. Bellucci turning. Trying to get it back up ice. And now picked up by Caitlin Flanagan. What do we have there? Hand pass? Like we had a hand pass on the play. So there was 1:01 remaining. Kozarowski going down the boards. Cruciano in for Bell Tire. This is picked up by Morton. Morton over to Mackenzie Flanagan. Flanagan up to Bellucci. Bellucci coming in. Shot is gloved by Oakville. 43 seconds remaining in this game. Bell Tire on a line change. Orlick, Hewer, Agbe, McKenzie, and Caitlin on D. Puck is down. Hewer behind the Oakville net, sending it out front, finding Orlick, who's going to knock it in to make this a 1-2 game with 35 seconds remaining. 35 seconds left in this game. 1-2 is the score. Looks like Beltire is getting ready to send out their sixth skater. So that puck is at the ref's feet. Agbe trying to get it across the line as Grund is ready to bolt for the bench. And it's going to make its way into neutral, 23 seconds. That puck going into the Beltire zone, 18 seconds. Mackenzie Flanagan with the puck, getting it up, trying to find that pass deflected. Hewer, and that is going to end up, look like this is going to be the end of the game here as Flanagan's battling in the corner with 2 seconds remaining. That'll be the end of the game. Beltire is going to be down 1-2.